Hey everyone, it's Anthony Allen Ramos from GLAAD. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
This film is queer joy for me. So on the count of three, I want you all just to say queer joy with me. 1, 2, 3.
Queer joy!
Yes, I love it. Okay, where do I begin? First off, as a queer Asian American, all the feels I had for this film. But Bowen, let me start with you because I just talked to Joel. Actually, you know what? Before I come to Bowen, Joel, I just talked to him. He wanted me to pass along a message to all of you. He said, you all owe me money.
Okay.
Interesting.
So,
How about he has an invoice there?
I know. We'll just
receipts.
Exactly. All right, Bowen, let's talk about this because you got to work with your bestie, Joel Kim Booster, on this. I mean, what was it like to get to share this experience with him?
So special. It's just so wild that this was this germ of an idea like years ago on our first trips there. And then now, like, we've expanded that sort of scope of our chosen family, and like it absolutely includes everybody sitting here.
I love it. Okay, Conrad, I gotta come to you, my fellow Filipino. I told you this film meant so much to me. What would it have meant for you when you were younger, growing up, to be able to turn on the TV and see a film like Fire Island?
Oh, it would have meant the world. It would have made me feel less alone. I grew up in Niceville, Florida, which is 30 miles south of Alabama. So I definitely not only didn't see any representation, I felt actively oppressed by my environment. And seeing a movie like Fire Island would have at least let me know that, you know, we say it gets better all the time, but I would have been able to see that in action, and it just would have been, it would have been meant the world to me.
Yeah, well, it's gonna mean the world for so many people. Andrew, coming to you, I just feel like every project you do is bigger and better and more exciting and more inclusive and progressive and groundbreaking. So to get to be a part of this and to work with Joel, this project was so important for him. What was it like to come on board for this?
Yeah, it's so interesting. My career just keeps getting gayer and gayer. It's hard to believe because it's pretty gay. But, you know, I think what was so special for me, it's like, yeah, like I made a film, Spa Night, that was very much about my kind of personal experience being a gay Korean American, but it was very solitary. It was a very lonely point of view. And in this movie, I got to tell a story about two queer Asian American friends, like two different perspectives of our community. And then I got to make it with, you know, this wonderful cast. It's just so special to me that I can tell a story about more than just one gay person, you know, and that it can be about a community, about a chosen family, you know, to celebrate queer friendship, queer joy in this way. It just feels really special and meaningful to me.
So special, and I love that. You know what? All Asian people are not the same. All queer Asian people are not the same. The film does such a good job of showing that. Okay, Nick, I'm gonna come to you. Kind of spoiler alert, you're kind of the bad guy. Kinda. Maybe there's some heart in there somewhere. But I mean, I have to say, as much as I did not love your character, I was like, this has got to be still pretty fun to play.
Of course, I think it's the most fun to inhabit a human that, you know, isn't familiar, isn't as close to yourself as you would play. So I think it was really fun to be the villain and do it in a delicious manner, you know?
So delicious.
So delicious.
Especially because he's the sweetest guy.
Oh, I had a feeling. Okay, speaking of sweet stuff, Tomás and Matt, okay, just without revealing too much, actually it's already been out there. How badly are you hoping that Marisa Tomei watches Fire Island?
She's seen it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was actually told by Barry, our publicist, that she's seen it and she quote unquote laughed. Yeah. This is major, but she has seen it and she's aware of herself as a gay icon.
Well, our
Oh
job
my
is done.
God.
Yeah.
Tomás, I mean, what's your reaction? The icon Marisa Tomei has seen you do her iconic role.
I mean, as a Staten Islander, I think it's iconic, but I'm also waiting for her to follow me on Instagram.
Oh.
Hit that follow button, girl.
Wait, you know what? We'll get into this in a second. I've already been dreaming of the sequel. Maybe Marisa Tomei can come in, be some part of the, right?
She should be Margaret's love interest.
Oh, I mean, we just wrote it.
That would be literally sick.
We just wrote that. I love it so much.
She should be Crab's woman.
Old flame.
Yeah.
Well, actually, since we're talking about that, the sequel, just before I continue on, apparently Joel already has the idea. He said it's going to be in Just Like That, like 25 years later. And then unfortunately, Bowen is going to be like the Kim Cattrall of it, the holdout.
Sure. I just text with a space and then a period. I text like in a grammatically chaotic way.
All right, let's get back to it. James right there in the purple. I love, sorry, I'm making sure I'm getting everyone. James, I know you were so excited to be a part of this, an all queer cast, because I think you said something like you get to be as loud and proud in this as you are on your social media. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I think like as queer performers, we're always sort of like, you know, either way you go, you can feel like you're being, I don't know, like your identity is so involved with the work that you do, and that relationship can become really complicated, especially when there's like a scarcity of good queer content to like get hired in. It's like, I have to be able to do both. If I'm very clear about who I am, is that going to mean I can only do one thing? I have to get a job. And so I think being on a set where it was just like, the point of this movie is to celebrate queer people being themselves, being not just themselves as queer people, but going deeper than that and being like, what is the uniqueness that I bring to the community? What is the relevance of my experience? I think was super like intimidating at first, but ultimately very empowering for all of us. And I think it just like speaks to the magic that happens when you let queer people tell queer stories.
Amen to that. I love that.
President.
Zane, oh my, I don't even know what's happening, but I love it. Zane, let me come to you because I heard, I don't know if you DM'd Joel, but somehow you reached out and were like, I hear you're doing this. I have to be a part of it. Please make a part for me. Is that kind of what happened?
No, I followed him on Twitter. And
Okay.
This was years ago, right? Like when he first like had the idea, and like famously one of my, well, not so famously, I don't know. One of my favorite movies of all time is Pride and Prejudice, which is the Bollywood version of Pride and Prejudice. So like I have always like loved the story. I grew up with like an Austen fan mother. So I was like, man, gay Pride and Prejudice, I want to be a part of that. And I don't think he's seen it. I just like put it out into the universe. I want to be one of those Subway ads where they like put their tweets on the thing and then it like manifests. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, amen.
Where like Cardi B is like, I'm gonna be famous, and then it's like a picture of her performing.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. Maybe Cardi B can be in the sequel. Let's make it happen. But let's stay in the present.
Busy, I think.
Maybe, but let's stay in the present because I just want to say one thing. Margaret Cho, everyone. I mean, iconic. I heard that she was beloved by all of you and she received it all. Bowen, I'll come back to you. I mean, I know how important it was and how meaningful it was for Joel to work with her. I would imagine for you, it was to get to work with iconic.
Yeah, I mean, she was being pulled away every day from one of us, just kind of like downloading all of our sentimentality onto her, just being like, you defined us like from such a young age. I remember Notorious CHO was the first special that I ever listened to in high school, and she ends that special with like this missive on like self-love and acceptance in like 2002, like back before that was like part of like kind of a mainstream message, I think. And like she's just so like ahead of every curve, I think, in every single way, and it was just such a privilege to work with her.
Yeah, oh my goodness, Torian, I almost forgot you. Sorry about that. There's so many of you. I love it. This experience was, I heard it wasn't as fun as it looked. I mean, it was like, Joel was like, I got to go on vacation with all my gay best friends. Tell me, was it everything and more for you?
It was literally the one of the best experiences of my life. And it was like, filming the movie was a cherry on top, but I say all the time, it was like, there was a lot of, when I first got the call that I got this role, there was a lot of personal insecurities that I had to get over, imposter syndrome sort of things. And like this cast is just the most supportive, most brilliant. There was just so many things that outside of filming that I take away from this that I will cherish for the rest of my life, because it's like chosen family is so important in the queer community, and I'm blessed with a wonderful blood family, but I am so thankful that I now have so many close chosen family members that I know that I can like reach out to and talk to, and it means a lot to me. So it was like beyond words, literally one of the best experiences of my life.
Oh, we love that. Yay.
Yeah,
Conrad, coming back to you. Because as I said, this film is absolutely hilarious. It's a riot, it's raunchy, it's everything. However, it also talks about very important things, I think, when it comes to Asian American people, with masculinity and biases that exist in our own community. Tell me about, getting to be in a project that really talks about that.
The thing I love about it is that it shows the way we exist in the world. It shows what is, but without lecturing about it, without being pedantic about it. And then it also allows us to feel empowered at the same time. I feel like a lot of times when you talk about issues within the queer community, it tends to focus on the trauma. And I feel like this allows every single one of us to feel represented in a way that feels honest, but also feels empowering at the same time. So yeah, and also I feel like the issues are dealt with in a subtle way, because the main thing that I think we all want is for people to just enjoy the film without it being like a lecture.
No, I love that we have a gay Asian Mr. Darcy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And a funny one.
I am here for it. Well, everyone, congratulations. Thank you so much for this. Just a reminder, everyone, Fire Island will be available on Hulu on June 3rd, and get ready for the sequel coming out with Margaret Cho and Marisa Tomei. I am here for it. Happy Pride to you all, and thank you so much.